I think last time, as I was saying, we did this interview. It was in 2019 or
Hmm.
yeah, something around that.
19.
And a lot has changed since then, and I think you have evolved, we have evolved, and everything has changed. So let's just take it from there, man. Dipto, considering you've been one of my initial clients back when I started Uability, before I talk about you and everything, like, what do you think, like, how things have evolved, considering that you have seen everything from day one? What's your opinion, or what's been your observation so far?
Well, I think I came across Abilities ad on 18, and I think I joined on 18. No, sorry, no, 19. On 19, I joined, and since then, now the group went from a WhatsApp group, and we've been creating client success stories so far. And each day, whenever I open the group, I see clients getting success, and it's a really great thing. Now, there are definitely some things because nothing is, the top notch. Nothing is perfect. So there's a long way to go. There's a lot of things can be added, and this is. But so far, I think it's been a great journey with you and the
Awesome,
group.
man. Awesome. So good to know. So, Dipto, like, let's just talk about back in the days. I remember like doing a sales call with you, and you had just done some sort of digital marketing course online, right? From, I think it was Internshala or something.
Yeah.
So, since then, like, talk to me about then, right? How old were you back then?
Uh, since I took the course of Internshala when I was 18,
18.
and currently I'm 21. But there's a problem with that is, the course was good for the beginners. That was good for giving an overview, nothing in very details, but an overview of digital marketing. So they were teaching basically everything: Google Ads, SEO, Facebook marketing, Twitter marketing, etc. But the problem was I didn't know how to implement,
Hmm.
right? So the implementation part is something I learned from Uability, like how to craft your offer, how to find a problem in your marketplace, and how to craft an offer relevant to that, and how to actually approach clients. Now, one of the coolest thing is if we get to learn the fundamentals, this is applicable for any business. Now, when I was 17, 16, 17, even until now, I'm also very passionate about fitness. So, uh, this skill can be utilized in order to get fitness clients as well. So I can get clients if I decide to start a fitness business as a personal coach, etc. So that's a great thing about the course. Like it's a very decentralized. Like you can learn one thing, but you can implement them in different places. Like if you learn sales, you can work with maybe organization, maybe work with individual consultants, and maybe even teach people how to do sales. So that's the beauty of this program.
Right. That's fantastic, man. So, talking about that situation of 19-year-old Diptopal, you said that you were doing courses on digital marketing, watching YouTube videos and whatnot. But I'm assuming you didn't have any clients or agency or any business back then, right?
Nothing. I had nothing. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I'm sure that you came across me, and we got on a call, and I remember on the initial call that I was like, so do you really want to do it? And you said, yeah, I want to do it. And I was like, okay, so put down a deposit. And you were like, wait, I can't do that. Wait, I need some time. And then I was like, nah, this guy won't buy. But then, like 5 minutes later or 10 minutes later, you contacted and you were like, Rohan, I put down a deposit. I'm ready to go. Just give me some time. I'm gonna arrange the funds and get started.
Mm.
So, talk to me about what happened back then. Like what exactly were you looking for, and why did you decide to at such a young age decide to put down a decent money for at that age for you to invest in this growth of yours and start a business.
Well, one thing I knew for sure that I wasn't finding anything helpful on the internet. So And upon come across all those success stories of yours, I was convinced that I'm gonna get it at any cost. So the only reason I took the time is to convince my parents.
Right.
Initially, they were like, "I have never heard of this kind of thing." In fact, until today, some some people in my known circle are not really convinced with it, and that's fine because they are not familiar with this kind of how this entire industry is evolving very fast. And even if we consider IT companies, they are also consulting companies. They provide IT services to international giants.
Mm-hmm.
So why not start my own? So that's something I thought in the past as well. So if there is a scope in the market, then we should be definitely in this. So I was determined that I'm going to get this course. So even I talked to a few of my friends if they were comfortable giving me some money, but they also follow the conventional path until now. So all I had to do is to work really hard to convince my parents to actually give me the funds.
Right. So what I'm curious to know is, considering that I'm sure a lot of people watching this video might be of age 19, 18 or whatever. So how did you go about convincing your parents? Because a lot of parents in India, is like even mine are, at least back in the days when I was starting just like you, the belief is that you should go and get a secure job, 9 to 5, get a certification and all those things. So how did you convince your parents that mom and dad, there's this guy on the internet who's going to teach me how to start a business? So like, how did you go about doing that?
Well, firstly, I showed all the testimonials videos. Back then, I had plenty of case studies to showcase, and I showed them those videos. And also, they at that time they were pretty much convinced. So all I had to do was to ask for a few more time, and it was done. So it was not very hard, but they took some time to respond. So that's what one only thing.
Awesome. Okay, so back then, you started off, and that time you had like little, I would say, not as much experience in marketing as you have now. So how would you rate yourself in terms of knowledge of digital marketing back then? Like on a scale of 1 to 10, how much would you rate back then?
3.
Okay, so you were at 3 and you were basically looking to gain more knowledge about marketing and
Yes.
how to start an agency of yours. And then you paid the money and you got started with the program. So talk to me about the initial days. Like what happened? So right after you put down the money and everything, you joined the program. What happened? Talk to me about your journey of like how did you go about selecting your niche or whatever. Like this, I think you're at 70,000 rupees a month now. So
Yes.
talk to me about this journey of a Diptopal in college, making 0 rupees to making like almost equivalent to the salary of what most people gain after working 10-15 years in corporate world. So talk to me about how did that happen in such a short period of time.
Well, I was generating 1 lakh rupees a month, but one of my clients actually had a problem due to COVID. So
Right.
he also, that particular guy was the highest paying actually. And what happened, he decided to open a restaurant. So I think he could not manage the money well because the first month it was very successful, and after that he was not able to pay my fees. He paid
Right.
for 2 months basically, but after that it didn't make sense to work with him anymore. So I had to say no to him. And but still, it was like I was making no money at all. Then and joined the group. I I was not sure what an audit means. So the group, I remember one conversation when one group member asked me to make an audit and send to the businesses. I didn't know what actually audit meant.
Okay.
So then I got to know that about that analysis report. So the first mistake I did, I think, is not selecting a niche.
Right.
I thought I would miss out, but now I understand that it's very important, because if you're trying to sell to everybody, you're selling to nobody, literally. So, and every industry has their different problems. So, initially I was, I don't know, worked for free for 2, 3 different niche clients. They were in different niche. One was in e-commerce, other one had a fitness business, personal coach. So, but they were also starting out. So that's the mistake I think I made. People who were just starting out, right?
Right.
And also, what I think is it's very important to sell to those business who have the money.
Right.
Here's another problem: business who have the money. A lot of time, what I'm currently noticing is they are either developing in-house digital assets, they have their separate marketing team. Sometimes people are doing by themselves, and I know they're working with other very big agencies. So the thing is, you never stay with one offer. Like you have to evolve your offer as well sometimes. So
Right.
I have done a lot of iterations for my existing offers, and sometimes the replies are, what I'm currently noticing is I'm mostly attracting the businesses which are very small, like generating 3, 5,000, 10,000 maximum. So when I they ask about the fees, and I state them, even though they're a good fit, and if they really want something, they can easily arrange the funds. They say the price is too high. So this is something I think still need to work on my sales skill, because this is a skill which takes lifelong to learn. So there's never a guarantee that someone will get an yes. So most of the time people get no, sometimes they get yes, but it's important to choose right prospects, in my opinion. So that's the thing. So
Right.
initially when I joined, I discarded everything, and now I have to reach out to very few selected people who I think might be good fit, might be able to afford everything, and would be able to take action rapidly now, especially in e-commerce. When, for example, if your site doesn't look really well, people are not trusting it, something's up, they're not going to buy. So this is something important to select the clients who are willing to evolve. So that's also I learned. But initially I didn't know anything altogether.
Right. Got it. So, Dipto, talk to me about, what happened from the time when you were offering these free trials and working with all these beginner clients to the time when you actually got the first client that paid you money and you received it in your bank account. Like, what changed, and how, as a beginner, you were still able to, get a client to pay you money? Like, how did that happen?
I think it's all about finding the right customers. It's all about it. So if you can find the right customer, because the first client I closed for money, I sent him a friend request on Facebook. He booked a call by going to my timeline. I booked a call, and it was very easily closed because he was determined. So it's very important to work with determined ones. So you can understand their determination by the way they speak on the call. Right. So this is important. Saying no to people who are taking things very casually are going to be a very big problem for ourselves as well. Taking onboarding clients, there can be problems in the future.
Right. I think there's a very important saying, which I'm sure that, it was said by Jeff Blount, famous author, and he says, don't swing at nothing ugly. So, this basically means that if something is not a good fit for you, there's no point you dedicating a lot of your time and energy and focusing. And that's why I think a lot of beginners, what they do is they settle for the ugly things, and that's why, when these ugly things say no to them, they get demotivated. So, Dipto, what I'm curious to know is, during that time, I'm sure that, people might have said no to you, or people might have rejected you or not taken your offer, and some people might have promised that, oh yeah, I'm about to pay you, but then they didn't. So how did you deal with these setbacks as a beginner and stayed consistent till the time you actually achieve 70,000 to 1 lakh a month? Like, how did you stay persistent? That's my question.
Yeah, this is a very good question. Actually, I had this case had happened twice. So, one guy he said that he would go with EMI method. Like first he would pay for $750, and at the end of the month he would pay 750. So it's total 1,500. And upon sending the invoice, he just cut the call and never replied back.
Oh shit. Yeah.
And another time, what happened? One guy from Bulgaria, I think, he said that he would send me the money on next week when he gets the money. So he even deposited some money, okay, but never paid the full amount. And of course, this is yes. Sometimes what I got to learn is that there are people who would be doing this, but that should not stop us from, because we are not doing that. When we have to understand that we barely do that, right? So we have zero control over their action, but we have control what we think,
over our action.
what we. So this is okay. He was not serious in the first place. He didn't go. Might have not get good results either if he was not serious. He was not. In that case, he might not be able to make any changes if necessary. So that's a good thing. We just save ourselves from getting a client who would be a problem.
Exactly.
So that's something we have to always keep in mind. Yeah.
Right. Got it. So you stayed persistent, and I'm sure that you might be getting thoughts like, oh, I should give up, or maybe the program doesn't work, or maybe marketing doesn't work, or n number of things that people like to blame on. So my question is really, how did you still manage to convince yourself that this will work and this is bound to work, and I just need to keep going till the time you actually got the money?
I saw one email marketer's video. Don't particularly remember his name, but he is a very, very great cold email marketer. So I mostly reach out with cold email marketing. He shared that some industries are very hard to get clients from. Like, for example, e-commerce. He personally said in the comment section, I go through the comment section as well in order to get any incentive if I get. He personally said, by replying to one comment, that getting clients in the e-commerce industry via cold emails is very hard. So, but he didn't say that it's impossible, right? So, what can be done? And he also showed the way. Also, there's also laid out in the course as well. So, if something's not working, we should check the KPIs. We should track daily, see what's happening, and adapt accordingly. So, there is the, I think, troubleshooting guide. Okay, so it has everything written very clearly that if after X number of emails or X number of messages, if you're not getting a response, you need to fix that. So we have to get going, because nevertheless, channels are going to stay there. People are not changing. Everything is a way of communication. Email, paid ads, maybe organic marketing on Facebook or anything like that. They are going to stay consistent. They are not particularly changing. The way people respond to them are changing, definitely, because cold email is widely used. Everything is widely used these days, especially there's a growth in the consulting industry and a lot of it coming in. So the way to stay consistent is to remind yourself that these things work, but I have to tweak it in a way that works for me. So if I just copy someone's script or just copy any particular method, that's not the only way, because that particular way is being followed by a lot of people, and most probably prospects are getting bored of that. So maybe come up with something unique,
different,
maybe, something of your own, so that seems personalized really. So that's one important thing. So that's why I haven't still given up doing cold emails. What I personally believe is I'm currently having some difficulties getting qualified people reply to my emails and have a call with. So that's the way out. I have to figure out how to do that. But because it doesn't make sense to talk to people who don't want to work or can't afford actually. So, right, so that's why we have to realize that people, the consultants are signing way high ticket clients. They're charging maybe 5K, 10K US dollars, pounds. They are getting clients. If they can get it in a particular way, they are saying they are getting clients, then we can definitely do that.
Right.
So that's something we have to keep in mind, that if they can do that, we can
You
also
can also do it.
then-
Absolutely, man. And what I am curious to know is, because initially you started off at fitness, I remember you started off at realtors, and then I think now you're doing e-commerce.
Yeah.
Okay. So talk to me a little bit about how did this, this happen? Like, how did you go from, because, I'm sure like a lot of people watching this video who are part of the program, initially the thing that they get stuck with is that foundations part, the weak one, that they're like, Rohan, what's this magical niche that I should pick that will make me money? So I want to know, like, how did you go about, first working with fitness and realtors, and then finally picking e-commerce and sticking with that?
Well, when I was working with the fitness professional, he was not the only person. I also worked with another guy who was in different niche. So I was just chasing businesses, so
Right.
normal businesses. So after that, I decided to go with real estate because I thought I took some recommendation actually. I took recommendation from some YouTube channels, and he shared that this is a good niche, and I took that niche and reached out to a lot of people by cold email. Okay, but finally found 2 or 3 clients by Facebook groups only. And I also work for free with them. So one guy was very impressed that he actually referred me to his agency. So I was to run ads for the whole agency, but I could not close that because I believe still I could not show them the value, and
Right.
I could not emphasize the fact that leads are going to be people, ultimately people, and people need to be followed up, especially in something very expensive like a real estate.
Right.
So they need to be followed up, and people forget after filling up the forms. So that I think it's very important if someone is considering to change the niche. Every niche is good if we are able to find the exact problems of that niche and able to solve them, because the number of businesses, number of everything, number of e-commerce businesses, number of real estate agents, real estate agencies, or whatever dentists are very high, and not everyone is going to buy from one particular consultant. They are going to work with different consultants. So it's important to find out people who are willing to do so and establish the right expectations with them and making clear on the call listener. So hey, this is going to work out, but these are the criteria that we both are going to follow to make this a success. So if you're open to that, and I have seen when we shift some responsibility to their shoulders, they are more likely to take action.
Right. Got it. So I think the key lesson that I have gained from this conversation is that it's not so much about the niche, it's about how much value you can provide to them and about your offer mainly, right? Like how best you can solve their problems. So when most people like ask, Rohan, what's that magical niche? Like, look, realtors need digital marketing, e-commerce folks need digital marketing, fitness professionals need digital marketing. The question is, what's different about you, right? So I think now that what you were able to do successfully is really understand this niche of e-commerce, really understand their problems, and then figure out how you can actually provide them value. Is that correct? Is that what happened?
Another important thing is it's not different levels of business are different problems. So in my sales script, sales tracking sheet actually, if I just open it, some people have very different problems. Some are generating very good revenue, but their profit is very bad. So that means they're not able to generate a return on ad spends basically, and some are not even getting sales. So depending on the level of the business, their problems are different, but more or less the same. Everyone wants revenue, everyone wants profitably scale up. Some don't want to scale up, so that's a different story. They would just say upfront that don't want to scale up. So we have to talk to them. So that's why creating a hypothesis comes into play. So if the hypothesis is correct, more people would respond. And if not correct, we can always
edit it.
Play around. Yeah.
Got it.
One interesting thing is nowadays a lot of consultants in different niches are access. So even if you start a real estate agents, anyone who's starting real estate agents, they can go to 10, 20 consultants profile or website and check out what they are doing. Right? And come to an idea with that. So that's the beauty of right now, because this industry is flourishing right now.
Right. So Dipto, how did you manage to keep improving your hypothesis and then making that sharp offer to somebody like an e-commerce store owner, because of which they were like, wow, Dipto, this makes sense, like I want to pay you?
Okay, I also visited one one consultant's website, and my offer was very particular. Okay, what I noticed, ironically, when I changed my offer to a vague one, it started getting responded to, started generating meetings. So that's one odd thing I noticed. But still, whatever is working, that's why you have to do competitive analysis. So even before starting any business, we do competitive analysis, what others are doing, and take inspiration from them. So this is very important. So I just took a few look at the competitors' website, their profile, and checked out what they're doing, and I started doing the same thing.
Right. So basically, you looked at what the market is offering and kept iterating, and then I'm assuming you also added your finishing touches of your own, because as you were talking about customization before, that's the reason why they ended up buying from you, right?
Yeah.
Got it. So that's pretty awesome, man. Like, that makes sense. And according to you, Dipto, I think one question that everybody watching this video would want to know is, what platform worked the best for you to get clients? Like, which platform was the best? Or what strategy?
Facebook and email worked the best. So when I was actively posting on groups sometimes, the guy contacted me after coming across my posts, and also emails. A closed one guy for email. But one challenge in finding good emails is sometimes there are huge brands who, for example, Alexa Rank. Okay, if you just start shorting by Alexa Rank, even a company whose Alexa Rank is 2 million, they might be doing awesome millions in offline sales.
Right.
Okay, so that's why I got LinkedIn Sales Navigator, and that helped me to shout out better prospects.
Right.
So after that, I've been able to generate a decent amount of calls via LinkedIn Sales Navigator, and but here's the problem. Still, some of them were not. Some would definitely said no, but most of them were not up to the mark that I could make an offer. So a lot of them were bad fits. So goal is to be open-minded about where to get clients from. So setting up a very strict criteria that I'm going to work with businesses whose revenue is starting from this to this. So that's what's very important. So if you are targeting a particular size of business, you need to get out offer according to that.
Makes sense, man. Like, totally makes sense. And Facebook, email tied with LinkedIn Sales Navigator. So that's what has worked the best for you. And then obviously, as part of like any business, you must understand that it's the 80-20 rule. Like, you will have people that will say no. Like, despite us, at Uability, we have like a conga line of testimonials, but sometimes, the offer just won't resonate with certain people. And, we get like a lot of people who are like, oh, Rohan, I want to start an e-commerce store. And I'm like, we don't specialize in that, right? So we can't help you, but we can redirect you to, for example, Dipto, who can actually help you out with that. So I think this is how it works. And you have to just realize the limitations of the market, that, sometimes some people are just a bad fit for you. So that makes sense. And okay, so we have covered the channel. Dipto, according to you, since you've been part of this journey since 2019, what has been like the happiest moment since the time you joined Uability?
First, getting first paid client.
Talk to me about that. Like, how did that happen? What happened exactly?
So I was posting contents on my Facebook wall and just added someone from an e-commerce group, randomly added someone. He went through the post, booked the meeting, a Calendly link, and next day we were on a call, and he was fine with everything. So he paid upfront. Good thing is his site was still under development. Okay, so he paid upfront, and after I think 12 or 13 days we started working, and with the second person as well. Currently, a guy from the UK closed him on 5th of November, and his site was completed on 22nd of November. Yes, so they paid upfront. So one thing we can conclude that it is all about finding people who are willing to give the money. Like,
right.
There are people who have a store, for example, in other industries, let's just say real estate agents, there are people who are relying on referrals, let's just say, are paying very high amount to Zillow and other apps, but sometimes they say no. And I don't know why is that. If someone's making an offer, maybe if their finances is an issue, could be anything. Okay, but it is very challenging to find people who are willing to give the money. But it's not impossible, so that is why it's a numbers game. Especially in the old days, if it was, let's just say 2012, 13, we could have generated a lot of sales calls or maybe a lot of clients by sending only 30 to 50 cold emails per day. Right. But it's to 2021 and 2020 is on the way. So it is very important to, number one, find people. It's very important to find whom exactly you are going to target. How many people are working in that company? You have to understand that and actually make a lot of outreaches. Do a lot of outreaches.
Right.
Even Old Email Pros, every outreach experts say that you have to bare minimum send 100 emails a day. So if you send 100 emails a day and you get no response, sometimes it's okay because not everyone is going to open that email first of all. But still, you have to keep going. You have no other way if you want to be successful in this industry. So even if once you get some good reputation, then clients come to you automatically.
Right. And the best part is that I want to point out to everybody watching this video, Dipto hasn't even applied yet the Facebook ads part, which could automate all these things for him. So these are the results that he probably got just by completing 50-60% of the program. Like, I'm sure he must have consumed, but he's yet to implement that part. Is that correct, Dipto?
Yes.
So you haven't spent on ads. This is all profit, right? So I'm just yeah. So because a lot of people love to post testimonials that, oh, I made 10 lakhs, and then how much did you spend on ads? I spent 11 lakhs. So you technically made a loss of 1 lakh, right? So it doesn't work like that. But yeah, that totally makes sense, Dipto. So I'm sure that when you received that income, how much did you charge for that client, the initial ones?
The initial one, because I had no experience prior in e-commerce, so I charged 20,000 rupees.
Okay. And now how much do you charge?
For now, I haven't got any clients. I'm working with two people only. So the UK guy I'm working with, I'm charging £500.
Nice.
So, uh, and the guy I told you about, who actually mismanaged his money, basically, I charged $1,000 from him.
Wow. Wow.
So they are willing to pay the money. Even, but one thing is, if you are on a call, let's just say someone who's watching, and get on a call, and any prospect says that yes, they are willing to give the money, they are willing to work. Show confidence, because if you show confidence but don't show confidence, that backfires. I have tried doing so, and it was a very bad thing. But you have to give them assurance, yes, with only collaboration, with cooperation, that project can be completed.
Right.
So that's, if you also just don't just focus on yourself. Yes, I can do this by myself 100%. No, this is a business. This is your business, and you have to be involved in for some ways, and you have to be open to suggestions. So that's a good thing I have noticed. Even if the clients who are not financially inclined to buy your services, they really admire that.
Right.
So, and you can take that learning to the next prospect you talk to, and the next prospect. It just gets better with time. So
Absolutely.
that's one thing.
I'm so glad that you understood this principle, because a lot of people, they do one call and they're like, oh no, this person didn't buy. I think the market is dead. So they hang up and close their business. So the fact that you kept improving again and again, these 0.1, 0.2 little changes, percent changes, got you to where you are, which is 70 to 1 lakh a month, which is, especially for a 21-year-old. I'm assuming you're still in college or graduated?
Yeah, I'm still in college. It's my third year.
Yeah, are your friends jealous? Or do they look upon you that, look man, what you're doing?
Yeah.
Nice, man. So I'm assuming like those people who doubted you before, that, oh no, stick to the 9 to 5 path. I'm sure. What do they feel now?
Um, s- uh, some, especially my some relatives, they still think that it's not stable, and even after COVID, when a lot of people have lost their jobs, I don't know why they haven't understood that nothing is very stable in this world, right?
Right.
So they can think whatever they like. It doesn't change the reality for us.
Absolutely, man. I think that's because some people, you can't blame them as well, because the environment that they grew in, and since the time they've been trained with one single thing. So it takes real efforts to change somebody's belief, which brings me to the point that, the reason why you were probably attracting bad quality clients at the start is because you were focusing on people who had like a lot of limiting beliefs, and you had to like change a lot of them. Whereas a successful business owner, like, they know what can you do. Okay, you can get me an ROI. How much do you charge? If it's less than that, I'll pay you money. Right? It's basically how it works. So great job, man, Dipto. And I think like the last two questions that I have for you is, Dipto, if you had to go back in time, right, and the 19, 18-year-old Dipto that was trying to explore various kind of marketing courses and watching YouTube videos, what advice would you give to that person?
uh, I would advise only one thing, and to get a mentor who, keep exploring until you find something that really interests you. Okay, and if you want to really excel in that field, get a mentor.
Awesome, man. Okay, so getting a mentor is there. What if, let's say, somebody is unable to identify who would be a good mentor for them? How would you go about identifying, okay, this person is good, this person is not good? If you have any tips. Because information is there in like so much quantity now, right? Everybody, I'm sure you also come across like a lot of ads every single day. So how did you decide that, okay, this UAbility or Rohan or whatever, right? I think I should pay this guy money and I should learn from him.
Firstly, from a rational point of view, You can see their testimonials, their customers' testimonials. Okay, so that makes sense. And usually, what I've noticed, people who are really successful, they don't actually show off. There are also a lot of fake gurus out there. Okay, there's no. I'm not taking name of any particular guy because there are a lot. And internet, they are sued by the police for. They are usually sued by a lot of people. So usually come across these kinds of news as well. And one of the things I noticed that a lot of them show off. Successful people don't show off. Okay, they just create value. So you can see customer testimonials, and you can actually, if you are really if you really think that you can work under him or get his course or whatever, you can easily contact, just to verify, you can contact any of the customers, any of the clients, and get the honest feedback. So this is because there are a lot of people who are selling courses who don't know anything.
Right.
They might have taken many other courses and have just replicated that, just copy pasted that. But getting a first-hand experience is very important. So that's why you should really look at the track record of the person you are willing to give your money to. So what they did, how much success they created in their respective fields. So if you are thinking of hiring a fitness trainer, so you should check the client's transformation, the videos. You can also, if you are really into serious, you can contact any one of the customers and also check the health of the personal trainer, because a personal trainer who is fat cannot most probably.
Absolutely. It's like seeking advice from an accountant who's bankrupt. So, yeah. And okay, that makes sense, Dipto. So like totally understandable, and thank you so much for these inputs. Dipto, in case anybody watching this video is having an e-commerce store or maybe needs digital marketing help, how can they get in touch with you? What's like the best way?
They can connect me on Facebook. Okay, though I barely come online on Facebook these days, if they're interested, they can send me an email. Diptopal@bbecommerce, no space between, .com. So, and if they like to contact me via WhatsApp, they can send me a message. It's 8653674695. So if they want to contact, they can easily text me.
Awesome. So just to make it easier for everybody, what I'll do is I'll take these details from Dipto, and I'll put it in the description below. So anybody interested, by all means, check out Dipto. You could obviously take his help. He's pretty awesome at what he does, and his results speak for themselves. So Dipto, just before I leave you, I know that you've done it in the past as well. I see you are always like defending us. Maybe somebody writes a review or somebody writes a comment on an ad. You're like, nah, you guys don't know. Like these guys are legit. So just before I know that you have like already done your bid, but any last piece of advice or any 2 cents you would like to give to people regarding UAbility and what they should do if they are thinking to join this program?
I think people only should join this program if they are willing to make a change, because things would get tough, things won't be easy, because if you just look at the industry right now, any industry, getting a job is hard these days. Starting a business, there's a lot of competition. What UAbility does, it shows you a path. Okay, you can count as a fitness trainer who would customize everything for you, who would give you the workout plan. You need to hit your specific goals, but ultimately you have to lift the weights yourself. You have to do the cardio yourself. Okay, so if you want a path, you want a way that works, you want the, literally understand how this whole thing works, you should definitely join. But our word is that the work has to be put by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So Again, just as I get the example, the weights are something you have to lift yourself to build your physique. So that's like it.
Absolutely, man. Totally makes sense. So, Dipto, thanks a ton, man, for doing this interview. Just like, again, I'm sure you could watch the old video and this one and see the huge transformation that you yourself have experienced. I'm super proud of you, man. Doing wonderful at such a young age. And I'm sure don't get bothered if after 1 year I contact you again for doing another
sure.
interview for when you achieve 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs, or whatever the next target that you have set for yourself.
Yes, one important thing is I have understood that regardless, you have to keep going. You have to keep going. So you might be, sometimes you have to be and fire clients with iron fist. There would be times when you have to fire clients.
Right.
There would be times you won't be able to provide results, but that's okay because no one comes perfect. Even Arnold Schwarzenegger had to start lifting with 5 kg dumbbells only.
Exactly.
Right? So don't be afraid to make mistakes. You would eventually piss up at least one client. Even it would happen. It happens regardless.
It's part of the game.
Yeah.
Right.
You have to learn from the experience, and there might be sometimes you might maybe lose everything. So this is, but if you are following your ability, if you are following the instruction laid out very clearly in your ability, if you are doing the foundations work right, especially the week number 1, and you are consistently seeking new clients, you are consistently doing marketing, you are consistently prospecting, you're very consistent with your action, and in a small way, because again, as I said earlier in the interview, if it was 2013, right, you could be easily getting clients because consultants were very few in number. But after it's 2020 and 2021, 2022 is coming out, you have to make a lot of reach outs. In order to, even if you are in your course, if you decide to join, you see a troubleshooting guide, when it's written that if you make at least 1,000 outreaches a month, you might be getting 2 to 3 clients. So you might be end up with 1 client, but provide them results. If you are not able to set up, meet up their expectations, if you're not able to provide good results, it happened to me as well, right? You have to just move on, learn again, master the skill you are willing to serve to the marketplace, come back again, do outreaches until you get clients, serve them, and after that for Dynamo, you can just simply say, hey, I help this guy go from 0 to this much, you'll be interested, that's all. So never stop learning. If you make mistakes, accept it gracefully, no problem, and always keep working. So, and also focus on your social life. What happened initially when I started working, I forgot, I used to skip meals, so I had bought this meal replacement shake. So that was not a very ideal thing to do. You have to take care of your health as well as focus on your work. So if you are healthy enough, you can focus so much on work that's much more valuable than we can imagine. Even I got into a trap that can, stay awake at night, work. So it all backfired. So if you are joining Ability, you have already a path laid in front of you, what to do, when to change things, when to do anything in particular. You have just to follow it and ask help from the community if you get stuck somewhere. So that's a very valuable thing. The community is far more valuable, I'd say, than the course.
Awesome, man. So thank you so much, man, for the advice that you have actually provided. It definitely would help somebody who's getting started. And congrats again for the results you have achieved, man. And I'm sure you're going to do wonders. So thanks a lot, man.